each test we go through defines who you are. It either breaks you or it makes you.
Magtech has maintained their high quality during the ammo panic and ramped production to the max. Their ammo is the only ammo I run on the range because of its performance and reliability. I recommend Magtech wholeheartedly.
Someone else's trauma doesn't minimize yours, and it's not to be compared to.
Well, it doesn't minimize theirs either.
Right.
Right. It's like my trauma is my trauma and mine alone. Like I will never put it upon anyone. Your trauma is your trauma alone. And it's
just
like,
see a bro just knife hand me like that.
I did.
Yours
I'm
is
giving
yours
you,
right now. You suck. Your trauma is yours, Korea.
You keep it. No, I don't want it. No, but I feel like that's been my biggest struggle with people my age is they like to compare trauma and they like to just now be like, oh, you know, you fragile little thing. And it's like, dude, if you stubbed your toe and you are in so much pain, you can like, nothing compares to it. Like, I will help you. That's okay. Like, let me help you work through the pain. Like, if now you're scared of corners because of that, that's okay. That's your trauma, like, you know.
Well, nobody could call you a fragile soul, Abril.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I have a story with Target because when I was in the Halo, when we went, do you remember that? We went to Target. Yeah, that was a fun story.
The checkout lady?
Yeah, oh, yeah. That was interesting.
Well, come on, you got to tell it now. Now we got to hear it.
So I was in a surgical halo, and it's this massive thing, and that's where I got my little forehead dimples from. And I'm walking out, and by this point, I've been doing physical therapy. We've been going on really long walks. We've been working out in the mornings, which I don't do now, but, you know, back then. And we walked to Target because Target's a mile away from us. It's no big deal. And so we get there and we're checking out and this woman passes us and it was not a Target employee. This is not, you know, I love Target. I'm not shaming them or anything. But there's this woman and she was walking in and she looks at me, she goes, oh, you poor thing. And I don't know what got into me. I was so fed up. I looked at her and I go, I am not a poor thing. I'm like, a poor thing would not be walking around in this and would not have gotten out of the house. And I went off on this lady. I was like, and next time you see someone with a halo or in a wheelchair or with a neck brace or with a cane, do not assume that they are a poor thing. I'm like, if they are out and walking, it's because they are a strong thing. They are a big personality and all this other stuff. And I went off on this lady because he's giggling because he just stood there and was like, yeah.
Yep, you're in that one, lady.
And I mean, and again, like I'm so passionate about that because I'm like, you're not a poor thing. Like what Zach was talking about, like the kids in the hospital, they are not poor things. They are very strong individuals. And it's like, it sucks that what happens to them, but like, they are such a strong, like, they're strong people. And if you are getting out there and you see someone with a surgical halo or in a wheelchair, do not go up to them and tell them it's a poor thing. Like, oh my goodness. If I ever hear someone anywhere remotely to saying that, anywhere earshot, I will turn around and be like, who did that? Who just said that? Yeah. So that's my Target story.
That's the story. Exact same question, man. I mean, obviously you spent a lot of time on a cancer ward and does it make, you know, the average kid that just went through high school hard to relate to?
You know, sometimes it does. I will admit it is hard for me to get along with people sometimes, but it's not because, you know, I've been cancer 4 times. It's not because all the things I've gone through. It's because the excuses that they make are the same excuses that I made before going through all this. You know, not getting the car I wanted, not getting the phone I wanted, or like the favorite line that I love to hear is, I'm not really feeling it today, or man, this kid can't catch a break, or, you know, stuff like that. That's what makes it hard for me sometimes because, you know, I truly believe everyone is being tested in life. And although my test is different from hers and yours, guys, I do think that each test we go through defines who you are. It either breaks you or it makes you. And I think that test will always just define who you are.
Wow. Well, and I think what I see, and okay, so I'm going to tell this to everybody. This is just a me thing, and I don't know how you feel about it, Professor, but Every generation, as they get old, they like to complain about the generation after them. Okay,
Yeah.
so they like to gripe, you know. So I'm a Gen Xer, so the Boomers said we were weak. Then we turned around and told the Millennials they were weak. Millennials are now talking to Zoomers. That's you guys, right? That you're weak and whiny and all that stuff. You're a Zoomer. Get over it.
Okay.
And then guess what? You know, as you guys get older, your kids, and then your dang kids, and we had it so tough when you didn't have to live through a pandemic and all these other things. It'll happen, but the reality is that you guys have been through stuff that nobody else has, and you've dealt with things in a way that nobody's ever had to. And so those folks who come after and go, well, wait a minute, the old people, guess what? 20 years ago, they were in the same shoes and were just as weak and inexperienced as you guys feel like everybody else is around you. But then also, guess what? You're going to be the leaders who, when you're in your 30s and 40s and everyone else is looking around going, well, how come I'm not getting ahead? And you're going to be the ones that look around and go, because you didn't have the attitude that said that you could do it.
Because you didn't want to.
You didn't, right? I want to bring that back. Do you feel, Zach, you said, man, it was in and out of martial arts, in and out of training, whether at Attitude First or elsewhere. I know you roll jiu-jitsu and those things too. In and out with athletics, right? Do you feel like that structure and that focus of success was instrumental in building that attitude in you?
I think it was, because I've always had something in me that I don't want to settle for the bare minimum. I don't want to be average. I want to be uncommon amongst uncommon people. And a lot of people say like they don't understand how I do my everyday life going through all this stuff, and it's because I find a way. Most importantly, I find a way, no matter, because every day for me, I always wake up, I'm like, oh man, this hurts, this, that, but I find a way to navigate around that and to find a way to not make that excuse of, oh, I'm not feeling today, so I'm not going to go to the gym today. I'm not going to try to find a way to get better myself every day. Every day my goal is to find a way to get better, no matter what.
Wow.
And that's even if, reading a short motivational quote or reading a book that maybe there's some other people, like some people that, why are you reading that book, that's my goal, is to always just find a way to be better and find my breaking point every day too. Because when tomorrow comes, that breaking point that I felt yesterday is going to last a little longer today. And I personally, I'm going to sound also crazy for saying this too, but I love pain. Yeah. Because it's the only thing that is real, honestly. It lets you know that you're alive. Having 3 chest tubes coming out of my chest and peeing in a bag and not being able to walk and asking for help all the time, it let me know hey man, you beat the odds. You beat that 10% chance. You beat that 6% chance.
Wow.
You beat the doctor that told you, hey, have that conversation with your family just in case you don't make it out. I've had to do those conversations twice, and every time I hear that, I'm just like, man, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, he does, but I was like, I'm going to be fine no matter what.
He doesn't know you.
Right, yeah, he doesn't know me. He doesn't, and I find a way no matter what. No matter what. Even if I had a 1% chance, 2% chance, I'd find a way to make it out no matter what.
Wow. We've talked many times about the indomitable spirit being the #1 key to success in any endeavor. That's self-defense, and I think it's life, is the indomitable spirit.
That's much like with the Brielle, the day they put the halo on her and it's like, okay, you have to walk today. She's let's go for it. But at the same time they're telling her she has to walk today, they're saying, you're never going to do these other things ever again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And she's looking at him going,
okay.
what are you talking about?
Right.
Bet.
Thanks for the challenge, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. Learning how to drink water really humbles you. It was a lot. And
You nodded your head yes when he said that he liked pain.
I would have to agree with that statement. I wouldn't say I love the pain that I was in and that I still experience now, because my neck's still fused. There's quite a bit. Everything in there except 4 and 5 are fully fused, there's no moving. But I think that my worst moments are greatly appreciated. I can tell when my mental health, I guess, is declining when I start allowing myself little excuses. And I think it's very comical because I know when I've hit the bottom when I'm telling myself, well, at least I have coffee. And then, and I swear, it's not.
Girl, same.
It's not even a joke because I'm serious. It's those little things that I'm sitting there and it's 6 in the morning and I'm getting ready and I have my scrubs on. I'm ready to go to like the clinic or I'm ready to go to school. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, at least I have coffee. And then I look over and my dog is just playing with her toy and I'm like, at least I have the ability to play with her. And it starts off really pathetic, and it's so pathetic that you laugh. And laughter is the best medicine, in my opinion. But like, when I was in the hospital, it was the same thing. It was like, well, at least I don't have another surgery coming up. Or at least I can wiggle my toes. At least I don't have to have the compressors on my legs anymore, So it's all this stuff, and yeah, I would say that I look forward to realizing when I'm having my bad days. Because that's when you go, there's really like, you can't go any lower. May
as well move up.
Yeah.
You've hit the bottom, I might as well go up. But that's how I get myself out of those moments. I was like, well, I used to have coffee. I'm like, well, I bought myself my snacks at Costco last week. I'm just gonna go for it. And it's just the smaller the thing, the more pathetic the thing that I'm like, at least it's okay. Like, the more that I laugh about it, and the more that I laugh, the more I go like, all right, get out of it. Like, suck it up, move on.
Let's do this, yeah.
The world's gonna move on with or without me. Do I want to be a part of the ride, or do I want to sit wishing that I had? But
Dang.
yeah.
That's amazing.
So I would agree with that, and I would agree with going with the doctors too. Like, oh, okay, sure.
Wow.
Because we're a percentage. And working as now someone that's working into that field, it's really interesting to see that point of view.